yummy. Oh my gosh. So these colors, they just give me almost like a dopamine rush. Does anybody else have that feeling with like really intense colors that they just, whoa, guys. Sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. That'll happen a little bit later in our project, but first we need to stop and think about what we're going to be doing and take a look at the finished project so we know what we're aiming for. So that's what we'll be doing today. But first we're going to need to get a cup of coffee, have a little quiet time, and assemble our supplies. My name is Kim Norman. Welcome to Kim's Art Room. These are the ones I picked, and now comes the really fun part because I love going through my little bag of collaged papers that I have done over the years. Now we said we're going to be doing a purple beet. So this is the fun stuff. I'll make a video eventually of how I make these various papers. Sometimes I use jelly plates, sometimes I just scrunch things up. And aren't these gorgeous? I'm so rich. I have so many colors to pick from. But for the beet, I like the texture on this, but I don't like the gray very well. Ooh, I like that one. I'm a little obsessed with the colors of sort of teal and purple mixed together. And I like that was the husband coming back with an empty trash can, so can't complain about that, can I? So, okay, purple. Ooh, I like the textures on that one. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Ooh, yummy, yummy. So I think I'll pull out these two. That's obviously more than I need for a little tiny tea bag, but I'm going to set those aside. That'll be my purple selection. Green. Oh, now that has leafage all over it, doesn't it? That's obviously a stencil that I did on the jelly plate on just like cheap drawing paper, I think. Because I need the pea pod and the peas. So I wonder if I'll want anything a little more yellow, so we'll grab that. Okay, I think I'm being greedy. That's probably enough to choose from. Ooh, this one. Isn't that cool? Old piece of like lace or cheesecloth or something on a jelly plate. So let's go with that. Just because, that really is kind of a pea green. See my problem? They're all so pretty, I have a hard time picking. This might even work for the beads. So I had pulled that out already. I love this orange, which could be either the carrot or the pepper, because red peppers tend to be a little more orange than red. Ooh, that might be good for the pepper. And maybe for the carrot with the striations there. I like that. So those are my reds, and I didn't see any real orangey oranges like in the commercials. Orange. Remember those? What was the rest of that cereal commercial? Anybody remember? Comment if you can remember what that was. What cereal was that? Something. Orange. Okay, but it's not helping me find any more oranges in this stack. Oh my goodness. I'm finding a lot of great beet colors though. Gosh. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. I'm not going to make you wait for me to stuff it in the bag. We will do that later. And I think I have all the colors I want. So yummy. Oh my gosh. So these colors, they just give me almost like a dopamine rush. Does anybody else have that feeling with like really intense colors that they just, woo? And I think my mother has that too. You know, I may have told you that my mother lives with us, and so we're caregivers for her. And she was an artist for years, and so I set her down in front of a stack of these one time to just to give her something to do to separate the colors for me. And she got so excited because she just felt like every single one of them was a work of art. So it was a wonderful activity for her, and she really had a good time. So I think she gets that same kind of dopamine rush too from all of the beautiful colors that you get when you pull out a jelly plate or when you just crumple some paper. So, okay, these are my choices. And these are my tea bags that I have chosen. And now these, let's remember, these are not, these are faux tea bags. I do often paint on real tea bags, but I also enjoy making my own out of my painted papers. These are made out of the same things that we have over here, and I will just fold them. In fact, that's probably why this is cut to that size. I very well may have cut it to that size, but I think because it's thick right here, it didn't make a good tea bag. So I fold them. And I do have I have a video I'll be putting up about how I fold them, but I fold them exactly like tea bags. And eventually I will be affixing a string and all that good stuff. So these, and because these are painted mostly with acrylics, there might be some watercolors in here, but I doubt it. Mostly acrylics, because and they're a little shinier. I can't do gouache on these. I have to always remember if I'm going to paint them that I need to pull out the acrylics and paint acrylic on acrylic, because gouache or watercolor would just beat up on them, because you can see they're a little shiny. But the colors are so fun, and they are a little less finicky than the watercolor paper, which can be, excuse me, not the watercolor paper, than the tea bag paper, which is so much more porous. I have ways that I have overcome the porousness of the tea bag papers. I have some little tips and tricks that I've used to help me with that. But these are going to be on acrylic, because these are going to be collage tea bags. These are going to be mostly painted, mostly collage, then with a little painted pen work. So what we have, I guess I need to do those tomatoes too, but I'm going to pull this out because we're going to be doing the the beets, the peas, the oranges, I keep saying orange because I see the word orange, the carrot, and the red pepper. Red pepper. So that's our choices. I'm going to set this aside for a minute. And so for our purple beet, now I have to decide this too. I do think because the beet is dark, I'm going to need a lighter color. So that's dark. This, the pea color might be, I know it sounds, I'm still an 8-year-old boy in my heart, and when I say the pea color, yeah, there's the pea color. But let's not be naughty. Our pea is going to be green, so we're going to need something that it will stand out against. And obviously I don't think we want the orange carrots on this one, so let's think about doing the green peas on there. Think we can get away. We'll do the oranges on this brighter yellow, and then I think the red probably can stand up to that, because we can add some highlights to it too. So those are my choices. In fact, I think I'm gonna just like take a little piece of tape and stick them on there so I'll remember which one I'm using for which. First, we're going to do our beet. Okay, now we have to be grown-ups and actually pick what color we want our beets to be. So I'm thinking I might save this. I don't think the beet greens are going to be green. They tend to be, a variety of more purpley colors. So, how about the beet greens out of this, the beet that's down in the ground. In we even it even has a little bit of white in there for us. So let's do that. And I'm gonna wing it. Now, oftentimes I make my collages out of I tear them, and I I can try it, but if I hate it, I can always go back with scissors, I guess. So let's try doing a little tear. Yeah, this stuff tears pretty well. Some papers tear better than others. So I'm just gonna, and as I tear, if I'm tearing upward, most of that white edge is going to be underneath. If I tear downward, now you see the white edge is on the top. So I'm going to tear upward because I don't want that white ridge around my beat. So let's get it out like this. And I'm going to round it a little more. Ooh, I really like that part there. So let's go with that. It helps that I grew my fingernails out a little longer than usual. And if I make it a little too skinny, it's okay because I can always add another little piece on there in there. See, that's getting a little fat, so let's just take that off because I can build it with other pieces. And in fact, it looks really cool when you overlap it with other colors. It's looking a little oniony though, don't you think? I don't know, Gee, now the more I look at it, I think that looks like an onion. It looked like a beet on here, but now under the ground it looks like an onion. So let's see if it looks more like a beet if I let's try this color. You see, it's all trial and error. So let's try this color. And this stuff, it might be a little more cooperative. This is an old dictionary probably from 60 years ago. Let's try this one. And you see it has the words under it. It has the words there. And sometimes the words will help to create some textures for you too. So if you were looking for an onion with striations like that, let's save that. Maybe we'll make an onion eventually. But I think that looks more beet-like. And I like that the words are kind of creating this sort of, but I like that red part there. So I want to keep that red. So I'm going to get rid of that little corner there. I just love the messiness. Now you could take scissors. You could just cut this with scissors and have a really great result too. But I just love the messiness of, ooh, see, now I think that looks more beet-like. We will, once we get to the, when we start adding our pens, we'll go in and add the roots and things like that. So, and I don't know if I'm going to add a ground there. Now, so we said we were going to use that we changed our beet to that, and we were going to use this for the beet greens, which are not really all that green. So let's just do some little wiggly shapes for that. Now, my main way that I tear collage is in sort of little football shapes, sort of. They tend to, they kind of they're often like little eyeball or not eyeball, but eye shapes. What do you call that shape? I call it, I don't know, football shape, sort of. And so we can do a few wiggly pieces like that. And I love when they're all sort of made in the same category on the same page, but then they have other parts that won't quite match exactly, because then they're all still in the same color category, but they look great when they're overlapping each other. So let's call, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Let's go with that for the beets. And maybe we'll have them stick up a little, and we'll give them little stems underneath. So let's just cover that. We keep those there. Now we're going to work on our pea pod. So I don't like that blue-green, kind of dark. What do you think? Like that blue-green? And again, I'm going to tear upward so I don't have the white edge. And I happen to know this paper well enough. Paper has a nap to it. It has a grain. I used to work in a print shop, so I know this paper well enough to know that it's going to tear straighter in this direction. Most paper, well, this is more like a tissue paper. I don't even know where I got that. But if I try to tear this in the other direction, I'm going to get a lot of this. You see how it doesn't want to behave as well? It wants to go off to the side. It's not going to tear as well. But if you find the grain of the paper, and in this case, I know it runs north to south sort of on this, from Yugoslavia down south to whatever's below Yugoslavia. That tells you how old this dictionary is, doesn't it? I don't think there is a Yugoslavia anymore. Okay, so I'm going to tear this way, and it's just easier for me to tear in that direction. I know it's going to behave well for me. I happen to know these particular dictionary pages pretty well. So, ooh, now see, I put a little curve in there, didn't I? So, I'm going to fatten it up on this end and see if I can get it to behave. And I can even, again, I can simply tear off. And again, remember, if I'm tearing downward, I'm not seeing that white edge. The white edge is going to be on the other side, which of course in this case is good because it's, ooh, I like how rippy that is on the edge. Okay, there we go for that. I may save, I'm not going to bother to tear out the little, I think I will be doing the peas in this yellow color, but I don't want to lose all the little peas on my little mat here. So we'll just stop at the pod right now. We will be drawing the vinage with a pen. So I'm just going to set this aside because I know I'm going to be using that for my, I think I'm going to be using that for my little peas in the pod. Now, we have the carrots. We have a story in my family where I made the mistake as a young mother of buying, remember doing this? Remember those little plates you could get at the dollar store, and they had, and I've heard so many people tell me, oh, I had those, that set. So there was like, one had a radish, one had a pea pods, I think, and there was carrots, and I cannot, corn, I think the fourth one was corn. And my younger son always wanted the carrot plate. I don't know why. And of course, so my older son would always get it first. And we know why. He didn't care about the carrot. He cared about bugging his little brother. So every time I say the word carrot, I think about, we talk about the carrot plate still in our family for years now. All right, let's see. I'm going to want, because carrots, now this I'm going to have to fight with a little. Because this is going to want to tear this way. This is actually rice paper. It's going to want to tear this way. But I want to tear it this way because I want that grain that you get on a carrot that kind of runs that way. Let's see what I get here if I'm just very patient. This is so thin it probably doesn't matter if I have the little white edge to it. This might be a fat carrot, we'll see. And I can always cheat a little, and that's a, ooh, it's a bigger carrot than I drew, but I kind of like it. And doesn't that look like the striations that a carrot has? Now, if I'm going to use that one and keep it that size, I may just make it a little smaller. Paper. Ooh, I like that though. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have something a little darker underneath it. And this one I think doesn't matter as much. So I think it will tear better if I'm going in this direction. So I'm going to make a smaller carrot behind it and make sure it's a little darker. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, that's cute. Okay, that's cute. Again, now I can allow these lines of type that will act as kind of imitate the texture of, or whatever you call that, those circular grains that run around the carrot. So let's do this. And because of the grain of the paper, I can rely on it to behave a little better for me. And this is because this is old dictionary papers. This is not the rice paper. Rice paper is so delicate. Put that little guy under there. And I think those are going to be really cute. So that's what we've got for that. And we're going to cover it up to make it stay where we want them. And then we have one more. We're going to be doing that red pepper. So I may try to just tear that basic shape and then add some darker stuff or lighter stuff. Or we can even go in and cheat a little bit and just add some paint later on. There are no rules. I always act like there are rules, but they're just the rules that I made. So I can break my own rules if I want to. All right, this is going to be bigger than I need, but I'm just going to start with this and start taking parts of it off. Let's see, there, we have an apple. I'm going to skinny that baby up. And it's not too bad. We just need to start rounding it a little. And actually, you know, it doesn't, the collage, the part that we collage down doesn't even have to be the perfect rounded off shape of the vegetable either, because we're going to be adding a sort of messy outline that will correct any spots that are a little too pointy or don't really look like the vegetable. Almost getting a strawberry shape, but you know what? That's not a bad thing, because here I can demonstrate what a second piece will do underneath it. I've got this kind of dark piece right here, and I forgot I tore it the wrong way, but that's all right. I can tear that off. See how now we get, when you get the different values in there. And I might tear it a little more once we get to working actually on the tea bags, and I have the Mod Podge in my hand. Oh, look, my little baby, one of my little carrots trying to fly away. Okay, there we go. All right, now we've got them where we want them. All right, so I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and we'll start working one at a time now that we have our basic shapes cut out and our papers chosen. I have pulled the first tea bag off and pulled out the little papers we're going to use. And of course, we're going to be using good old Mod Podge or matte medium. We can use that too. I don't know. I just like the smell. I like the smell of Mod Podge. I literally, I'll just wet my finger so I can hold onto the little piece of paper, and I'm going to coat some on there. Lay it down. I like that little bit of a tilt when I just sort of accidentally laid it down that way. And I'm going to pull it down so that I've got enough space for the leaves on top. Cover the top. And again, well, now my fingers are sort of sticky, so I think I can just, I'm going to coat this whole section here and then begin to arrange my little leaves. And like I said, I'm going to leave a little space at the top. Well, if I can. I'm still new to this, and sometimes I forget and it goes out of frame. I'm going to leave room again for the little stem that I will be doing with just a paint pen. And I left it a little more at the bottom because I also want the root to come out of the bottom. Ta-da! How long did that take? Now we're going to be working on our pea pod, and that's where we're going to put the pea pod down first. So I'm just going to do that first so I don't have to worry about losing it. I'm going to put it at an angle. We were going to use this, weren't we? And we'll see how much luck I have tearing this. If it doesn't work out, I can always break out the scissors. I'm deliberately leaving a little bit of, see that little white, that lighter edge there. I'm going to leave that lighter edge. And I'm just going around, and I'm just sort of pinching. And again, I'm pulling up so I don't get the white edge. of the torn paper. Sometimes I actually want that white edge. Let's see how those work. All right, I'm going to put down a little bead of Mod Podge and wet my finger, plop it in. Even if you're a little underwhelmed by the color differences here, we will be able to correct that some by put that little teeny baby one right there. We'll be able to correct that some with our pens and add a little more shading. We're gonna have the carrot plate fight. So we got this one for that and this one for that, and we want these two. Ooh, you know what though? I'm a little worried about how close those colors are. I might. Maybe that'll work a little better. Or I could even pick something that doesn't. What about that color? Because then it might kind of match the greens of the peas at least. Yeah, that contrast is going to be much better. Now, obviously, we have to put these two little guys on first. It'll be a little thicker and it doesn't dry as quickly, and then I can move things around. So I will be generous. Let's see, we had this one over here, didn't we? And the lighter one up there. And then before I fix them down too hard, ooh, look how that stands out. And the textures are so perfect for a carrot. There's the carrot one. Okay, now we're going to set that aside. And well, now maybe I should use this one. That's the one I rejected for the orange, but the pepper would stand out nicely. So we're going to put this one back, and we're going to put our pepper on there. I like that. And of course, the lower one, I need to put that one on first and then put the other one on top of it. I wet my finger, move that, slap that right there. Wet it some more. Slap that right there. Ooh, yeah, that looks pepperish to me. So that is all we need of the collage papers. I'm always impatient, so I'm gonna blow dry these. So we'll come back in a second and they will all be dry because I will have blow dried them. So see you in 1 minute. So here we have our dried tea bags. It actually didn't take that long. It was so thin, it dried pretty quickly. I'm gonna start this one. Let's push these other guys away and let's start with the carrot plate. Let's not fight over the carrot plate. Let's see how well I gotta shake this. A color that it reads as many different colors. And these are just, what are these? I don't know where I got these. I think I might have been traveling and I just picked them up somewhere one time. So let's see what this does. To kind of, if we want to get some, see, it doesn't say purple. It doesn't scream purple. And I can even sort of smear it a little bit. In fact, I think these are not, these might not be completely waterproof, so. This black one, ooh, this black is yummy. All right, and like I said, I'm gonna deliberately not hit the artwork. I'm gonna be very deliberately messy and sort of outside the lines. And we're going to have some little stumpy, instead of, to be honest, how often do we actually find carrots in the store that have that big shock of green on top? They don't. They're always just these sad little things that have everything's been cut away. But I'm not going to do that yet because I think that's still a little bit wet. So I'm going to set that one aside. And let's try our beet. I might see if I can get another leaf in there. Yeah, this is totally cheating. I should have probably used some collage for this, but we'll give this kind of an edge here. And let's see if this pink works for if it's too light, we can go back in and darken it up some. I'm going to mark on my own finger to get it. And that's not working too well. See, you just kind of play around and see what mediums are willing to behave in what way. And this is not real wet, so I probably could go in and see if some of these greens will behave. Like I said, these greens that these paint pens lasted a long time that I got from TikTok, which I fell for it. But anyway, they did last a long time. They were quite see what I mean? It's like too bluey or something. Let's go with the black because we know how much we like the black because it's really bold. And again, I am not going to try to stick with the exact outline of the plant. Deliberately missing the edges and deliberately shaking a little bit because I like that kind of messy line. And then I can just kind of maybe, see, that's not too bad now that I've cleaned up the edge of it. And I don't know if that's another leaf or are we just seeing, but that's pretty bright. Now I kind of like the idea of maybe adding a little highlight on the radish, and I have found that this pen will probably let me sort of smear it a little. And I could even, because here we are with a purple grape and we have our purple pen, so I could go in with this. And again, I can smear it. As long as it's really, really, when it's first wet, I can go in. I love contrast. I mean, if you've seen any other of my videos, well, I don't have too many of them yet, but I talk a lot about contrast. I used to paint theater sets, and I always found that it didn't pop until I added some really bright pops of either super dark or super light, and then suddenly it would come to life. That's not bad though. That's looking Pepper-esque. My dog is in the background yawning. Get back to our peas. Now these, I'm going to use the purple here because I do want to go in here and delineate my little peas. See if we're done. Are we done? We have the beet, the red pepper, and the carrot. think we're about done, and we're going to want to frame these up. I have these great little frames that I'm going to show you. Oops, I almost forgot. We need tags. For this version, I'm going to, rather than put together some, worry about what I'm even going to name them, because I will name them whatever, radish tea, carrot tea, whatever. That would be weird, but so I'm going to put this back where I want it. And we're going to pick out 4 of these. Just some craft glue, a little dab of glue. And then just sort of squish it into the glue. I'm going to end up getting glue on my phone, you watch. There we go. Attached and dried tags. And they're all the same brand. I bought these great little framed, pre-cut frames. I painted them blue. There's nothing blue in these pictures, but, and of course you can go ahead and put them in. These are, I think they're just 5x7, so just a standard frame. It's super high tech the way I attach things. I just use tape, and in this case, what I have on the desk here is painter's tape. In a magical second, they'll be done. See, told you it was magic. I went ahead and put these. I would not ordinarily put these in a stand-up frame, but this is the only matching frames I had. It came from my mother's house. So I thought I wanted you to see what they did look like under glass, though. And see, you can tell, I love that they're kind of 3D, that the strings and you can see the edges of the quote tea bags, and also, of course, my ring light. But that's what they look like under glass. I hope you had a good time with this. I will find a link to these mats that I bought. I don't even think I have an affiliate. I think I had an Amazon affiliate thing years and years ago. I don't even think I even have it anymore, so it won't be an affiliate link, but if you're interested in those little frames, I'll add that link to the video, and I hope everybody is able to give nice, cheap gifts this year of whatever you're inspired to put in on your tea bags. Bye, guys.